Why you'll get worms if you chew paper. Paper is made of wood, and wood is always infested with any number of crawling or slithering animals. Just peel back the bark of any tree and you can find a multitude of creatures with either too many or too few legs. And the hardier of these can survive the processing of wood to paper. The native fauna that survive papermaking are primary agents of paper infection, whereas those that infest and inhabit paper after its production are secondary agents. Within the home, there are several common culprits for laying eggs in paper, including moths, flesh flies, museum beetles, silverfish, and bedbugs. The most common eggs found in household paper are those of a small annelid worm, Lumbricus chartus. L.chartus, more commonly known as the paperworm, is a small white segmented worm with a distinctive saddle or clitellum. Unlike most other annelids, the earthworm, the ragworm, the leech, L.chartus is most at home in the human digestive tract, and so lays its eggs in paper, safe in the instinctual knowledge that some young contrarian will ignore its elders and ingest them. The egg of the paperworm is remarkably hardy and can survive in a desiccated and dormant state for many centuries until it enters the warm, moist human mouth. The earliest confirmed findings of paperworm eggs date back to the Han Dynasty of 3rd century China. These were unfortunately impossible to revive, despite diligent chewing and ingestion by an intrepid team of paleobiology PhD students. A close relative of the modern-day paperworm, L. papyrus, was revivified after scholars chewed up a unique 13th century religious manuscript found in an ossuary on the Iberian Peninsula. The paperworm is therefore the subject of serious animosity and demarcation disputes between paleontologists and archaeologists. As the earliest reanimated annelid, L. papyrus is known among the more jocular biohistorians as the zombie worm, and in fact has made a remarkable post-extinction resurgence, taking over great swathes of the paperworm's former habitat in southwestern Europe. The life cycle of the paperworm. Egg. The paperworm life cycle, like so many others, begins with a fertilized egg. The paperworm egg is just visible to the naked eye and shaped like a lemon with sharp barbs at the equator. The egg is small enough to be buried within paper without any evidence or bulging. Hatchling. After ingestion, the egg hatches and the new worm is born. This juvenile remains in the stomach and can last up to 18 years, depending on the conditions. Adult. The worm reaches sexual maturity, which can be identified by the appearance of the saddle-like clitellum and by an insatiable desire for the company of other, more attractive worms. At this stage, the paperworm is compelled to search for a mate and leaves the warm human stomach through the natural motion of the host's gastrointestinal tract. Laying. An adult worm holds its eggs within the clitellum or worm womb. When the eggs are ripe, it uses its powerful sense of smell to find an appropriate piece of paper, cupcake, case, or envelope in which to lay them. Laying the eggs involves sloughing off the worm womb with a shrugging, shuffling movement, like stepping out of a wet bathing suit, spilling the eggs onto the paper where they immediately and invisibly sink in. Fertilization. On sensing that eggs have been deposited nearby, all paperworms in the area rush from their human hosts, trying to be the first to fertilize the ripe eggs in situ. The seminal fluid of the paperworm is a thin, whitish liquid which penetrates even the heaviest grade of pulp to find an egg. And repeat. Although unpleasant, the paperworm does not appear to harm the human in any way.